The Daily Dig farm tractor. Hello and welcome to the Daily Dig, Diggerland's educational series every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. Hello, I'm Josh, General Manager and Certified Instructor here at Diggerland, and today we're talking about farm tractors. Now, if you tuned in last Wednesday, you'll know this is a makeup video from last Wednesday, so you already looked at farm tractors a little bit. We're going to get into much more depth today. We're going to show all the great things they can do. So come on, let's get in a little bit closer and take a look. With us as always, we have our operator, Ben. Hey Ben, good to have you back. Ben was off on Monday, but it's nice to see him. And we can take a look at our farm tractor here. Now this farm tractor is made by Kubota. Its model is the L3901. Now, at Diggerland, we've done a few things to modify this tractor to make our lives a lot easier. We've put an extended bumper on front, and you might notice we have a few different kinds of trailer hitches. We have a lot of different things we might have to pull and bring around, so by attaching trailer hitches, we always know where our tools and equipment are. Now, at the front of the vehicle, we have the hood. This is where the engine's located. So we see our engine compartment here, our air filter. We have our little inlet here that we squeeze to get any kind of dust and dirt out. We also have our coolant and our battery. This is what starts the vehicle and powers up this whole thing. Now, unlike some of the other vehicles we've seen, like the dumper trucks or the rollers from Monday's edition, where the front of the vehicle actually moves, much like a car, these tires are going to turn and a tractor is going to follow behind. Oh, make sure that that's shut nice and tight so it doesn't pop open for Ben as we're driving around. Now, we'll notice that Ben also has a seatbelt on. That's for safety, but an additional safety feature, look at that bar above Ben's head. That's called a ROPS structure. That's for a rollover protective structure. That way, even though there's a low center of gravity, if Ben's operating on a hill or it's just something so strange and unexpected happens and he rolls over, that bar is going to protect him so he doesn't get crushed. We're all about safety here. On Ben's left foot here, he has his clutch. We're going to look at that in a little bit once we start hooking up some of the attachments. Around the back, we have our hookups for attachments. We have an inlet for a trailer hitch. We have right here, which it's called the PTO. That stands for power takeoff. We're actually going to use the engine to do things. We're going to get into that in just a little bit, but keep that in mind, the PTO, because we're going to be talking about that quite a bit. And we have all our different attachments here for moving things around. Now, how do the things move? With our old friend hydraulics. Cylinders fill up with oil and move things around. And we're going to look at that again in a moment. Let's keep taking a look around Ben's tractor. We have big tires in the back for power and getting through mud and other areas. Nice big surface area. And then we also have on his right side here, his acceleration pedal. He can push down and forward to go forward, and he can push backwards to go backwards. He also has a brake, and then he has his throttle right here. That's what controls his speed. All right, so great. We've seen the tractor, and we have talked about it a little bit. Now, there's a lot of things you can attach to a farm tractor. The great thing about farm tractors is they're so versatile. There are so many attachments we can use. In fact, we can turn these into a backhoe almost with some of the attachments. We could put a bucket on the front. We could put an excavator arm on the back. But we don't want to see that again because we've already done the backhoe. We're going to see some unique attachments we haven't seen yet. Now, here at Diggerland, we have quite a few attachments. On the back, we actually have a salt spreader we could put on it for when it's snowing. Now, although it's chillier and windy and cool today, we have no snow or ice on the ground, so we don't have to use the salter attachment. We also have a giant rake, which would be great for getting up some of these sticks we see around. But today we're going to focus on a few different attachments. So first up, we're going to look at our lawnmower attachment. So I'm going to have Ben back the trailer up. I'm going to give him some signals, and I'll show you how we hook up the lawnmower to the tractor. So Ben, let's get it started. As Ben backs up, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. We will do our best to answer them during the video. And any questions we can't get to, we will get to after the video is posted if I don't have the answer or if I missed your questions. So Ben, come on back. A little bit to the left. Keep it coming. All right, a little bit to the right now. All right, I want you to go forward and then cut to the right a little bit. I go forward and straighten out. Now, one of the toughest things when it comes to attachments, you can keep going forward, is giving good instruction and hand signal. If we get Ben nice and lined up, that's less work I'll have to do if we're getting everything hooked up. So cut it to the right and back up. Perfect. Come on back. Keep it coming. Keep coming. Cut a little bit harder to the right. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep coming. All right, so Ben, you could see I just want to be aligned right here. So it looks like we're pretty good here. So Ben, just back it up a hair more. A little bit more. All right, perfect. Stop right there. Now go ahead and turn off the equipment. Now, I might need Ben to make adjustments, but for my safety, I'm having Ben actually turn off the equipment. That way he doesn't inadvertently step on the pedal, and I don't have to worry about him running me over. Now, we talked about the PTO earlier. That's the power takeoff. This is actually hooked up to the motor. When Ben engages the clutch and turns the lever on, this shaft here will actually start spinning, and it attaches to this PTO shaft. Now, this is what's going to go to our lawnmower blades and make the lawnmower attach to the machine. So this shaft actually can slide forward and backwards. And there's a ring here. This ring has a little ball you could see on the inside. That's what locks into place. So by moving this ring forward and backwards, I can quickly and securely attach it to the shaft. So I have it lined up. I pull the ring. And this is the part that I always get a little stuck on. Sometimes it just doesn't line up perfectly, but we will get there. All right, so now I'm on the shaft. I have the ring pulled back. Give it a nice test pull. It is locked into place. So now when Ben engages the PTO, this shaft will start spinning, activating our lawnmower blade. But we don't want to just pull from the shaft. That's too much pressure on it. So we actually have to secure the vehicle, or the blade, to Ben. So I might need him to make a few adjustments. Okay, so now that we're hooked up, I'm going to have Ben start the vehicle and back up about 3 inches. And Ben, as you back up, if you can keep it cut just like that, that'd be perfect. All right, Ben, right there. Hair back more. All right, good, right there. All right, so now that Ben's here, I want to put the pins in to secure him. So Ben, back it up a little bit more. All right, so I got the pin in on this side, and I want to do the same on the other. All right, Ben, back it up. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Right there. And now I put my linchpin in. This will snap into place and make sure my pin gets locked in. Now finally, I have one more pin to put in. Okay, so now Ben is hooked up with the lawnmower. So Ben, why don't you show us, lift this whole lawnmower up. So now that he's hooked up, he can actually raise the lawnmower up and down. Great job, Ben. So one other thing is Ben has to rev up the engine to a certain speed, and he's actually going to drop this blade. We're going to come over here and we're going to watch him cut some grass. And in the meantime, I think we have some questions, so I'll read the questions as Ben drives around. So Ben, drive on around and let's cut some grass. Oh. Closed the hood before, but it looks like I missed it. All right, keep it going. Okay. We're gonna come over here. So. Come on with me, let's watch Ben cut some grass. We can cut through right here. Look at this tall grass, a perfect spot for Ben to start cutting. So go ahead and throttle up, Ben. Step on the clutch and engage your PTO. Look at that shaft start spinning. Now his lawnmower blades are spinning. Go ahead and put it down. Go forward. Let's watch him cut this grass. Look at this, on the left and right you see the tall grass, but here it's nice and trimmed. All right, so we had a question. Anthony wants to know, can the tractor pop a wheelie? Great question, Anthony. It's too heavy. There's a low surface or low center of gravity. It's not made for stunts, so this particular tractor will not be able to pop a wheelie. Let's watch Ben on the next pass. You'll notice on Ben's lawnmower that there's wheels in the front and back. That's to prevent the blades from hitting the ground and going too low. You can see Ben just did a great job cutting that really tall grass there. It was about a foot high. Now it's down to its normal about 3 inches. So let's go over and take a look at the next attachment. Engage the PTO, and now he's going to turn the tractor off. That way I can unhook the lawnmower. So go ahead and turn off the tractor, Ben. All right, so now I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm taking my pins out. Can you back it up just a little bit? Come back just a little bit. All right. Go down. Okay. I'm going to secure my shaft up here. Now Ben, go ahead and turn the tractor off. And now for the final thing, I am going to unhook the PTO shaft. This is what gave us the power. So I'm going to pull that ring back and pull the whole shaft back. Now, Ben is no longer attached to the lawnmower. Great job, Ben, but let's go do the leaf vacuum next. So right over here, we have a giant leaf vacuum. Ben's gonna back into that, and that's what we're gonna attach to. So come on over, let's take a look. So the leaf vacuum is a little different. We're actually pulling the trailer. So what I have to do first is hook this hitch up. That way Ben can pull the leaf vacuum trailer. So right where we saw this hitch receiver before, I'm going to take out the keeper and the pin, and I'm going to install the hitch. right, I put the hitch pin back in. Put my hairpin cotter or R key back in the pin. So now the pin's secure, so I'm going to direct Ben back to this hitch right here. That way we can pull the leaf vacuum. So come on back, Ben. Perfect, right there. All right, so come. Now earlier when I set this, I put my landing gear down. Now in order to get the pintle ring onto the hitch, I need to lower with the hand crank my landing gear here. And you'll see it's going to go right into that ring there, and the weight's going to transfer onto the tractor and off of this hitch. So now the landing gear is off the ground, and all the weight is now on Ben's tractor, right on the tongue of his hitch there. Now, as he uses the leaf vacuum, I just want to make sure that he doesn't accidentally hit the ground and bottom out. So this entire landing gear here is actually made to rotate to avoid that very thing. Okay, so we also, once again, have a PTO here, or a PTO shaft we have to hook up. Also, Ben has hydraulics. So I'm going to secure his hitch, and I need to hook up his hydraulics. Now, the reason he has hydraulics is because this machine does a lot more than the lawnmower we just saw, and he can actually use his hydraulics to control things within the machine. So I pull back the hydraulic coupling. Sometimes it takes a little bit of pressure to get it in. The couplings are locked, and we are now attached. Now this one is very similar, except instead of a ring, I have a little pin that I have to push to get him hooked up. Now, as I play with this, again, I like to say, tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Facebook Live. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Let me get him hooked up here. All right, almost done. I'm going to try it from a different angle. Can't win them all, Ben. All right, folks, looks like this is being a little bit more difficult than I anticipated, but I promise it went really well during rehearsals. Give me 1 minute to catch my breath, and then I'll be right back on it. There we go, just needed a breather. We're going to see this leaf vacuum in action, and it's going to be worth it. So thank you, everyone. Ben, go ahead and get this started. We have a question as well. 2 questions. All right, so Anthony wants to know, how fast can this mow the lawn? Well, its speed goes about 7 or 8 miles per hour. When we cut grass, we want to go slower to make sure it's a good cut, but it's super wide. It's the width of about 4 push mowers, so pretty quickly. All right, here we go, Ben. Yep. So guys, come with me. All right, well, I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to catch my breath. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna have Ben get this vacuum started. We're gonna go over there and watch him suck up a leaf pile. So he's going to turn his throttle up to get up to speed, and he's gonna engage the PTO again, just like he did with the lawnmower, in order to get this leaf vacuum working. So Ben, go ahead. And you guys come with me. Now you'll see right here, we have a bunch of leaves and sticks. Hopefully in the background you can hear that vacuum being fired up. Drop the lever. Look at this. The pile is gone. Great job with that leaf vacuum. Now, we're gonna see one other attachment on the leaf vacuum. So come on guys, follow me. Right this way. Here we go. All right, guys, let's go around this side. Now, you may notice right here, we have another pile of leaves, but it's way too close to the silt fence here. I run a serious risk of Ben crashing into this fence, and then all the dirt and leaves are gonna blow right into the newly paved parking lot here. So we have another great attachment. So I'm going to switch this lever here, and that'll change the airflow, and I'm gonna move it over to this hose. So Ben, go ahead and get this started again and then drive forward. So he's starting the PTO again. That's giving this machine power. And now I have a vacuum here. Like that, I can suck up all the leaves in the area. Look at that. Bet you wish you had one of these at home when it comes time when mom and dad ask you guys to rake leaves. Okay, so I have one more attachment to show you guys. First, I have to get this unhooked. Hopefully I'll have a much easier time than I did getting it hooked up. So Ben, go ahead and turn off the machine again. All right, so by pushing that button from before, it came right off. Tough to go on, easy to go off. I also want to disconnect the hydraulics, which is what gave this machine its power. All right, hydraulics are now disconnected. And finally, I got to raise this trailer off the ground. All right, so we are clear. So Ben, why don't you go ahead and back up to that yellow trailer over there? We got one last attachment, and this one's my favorite one. So come on over, let's head over to this trailer. For Ben to come over, let me see if there's any more questions. So Alex wants to know how fast this can go. It can go about 6 or 7 miles per hour. It's not made for speed, it's made for utility. All right, so once again, I'm going to drop this trailer onto the hitch. And all the weight's going to transfer off of my landing gear here onto Ben's trailer. You can actually see the trailer dropping down. We secure this. And I've hooked up my safety chain. Now, like I said before, this is my favorite attachment. I'm going to tell you why. After hooking up that leaf vacuum, you heard I was out of breath. You saw how exhausted I am. So there's nothing better than hooking up a trailer and going for a nice hayride with Ben. So let me take a seat. I think we have some questions. I'll be happy to answer them during the hayride. Let me get my gloves off. All right, so we're gonna go for a nice little ride right now. You guys can come with me. We'll take a look at some of the sights to see. Let me see what the questions are. Oh, 3 questions, okay. All right, so Trisha wants to know what happens if you get a flat tire. Great question. We have spare tires. We have to change them out. Well, much like a car, we would use a jack. We would jack up the trailer or the tractor and change out the tire. Very similar to a car. Great question. Keep those questions coming. Let me see what the next question is. Okay, so Camden and Braden want to know. Sorry guys, lost the camera there for a second. Camden and Braden want to know, what do we do with the leaves? Well, they get chipped up and put into the leaf vacuum, and then they actually go into piles here at Diggerland where we compost and turn them back into soil or mulch. Great questions, Camden and Braden. Let me see, looks like I have one more question. So Oliver wanted to know how I got into the engine compartment. There's actually a release mechanism. It's not a clip, it's actually a So if you missed that last question, sorry, we just lost the feed for a second. There is actually a lever that releases the engine compartment. That's how I got into it. Great question. As you can see, we're driving through the backside, kind of a backlot tour of Diggerland. We have our Diggerland XL to the side here. And we are continuing our trip around Diggerland. This is our back lot. This is where we keep a lot of our out-of-service equipment, where we repair stuff, and where we keep all of our steel and wood and all of our building materials here. So again, if you have any questions, keep those questions coming. See some of our other trailers back here. This is our fueling station. And here's where we keep a bunch of our equipment and our materials that we're using to build the water main water park. So again, if there's any questions, keep them coming in the comments below. See, we just drove by our wheel loader. That will be in a future episode of the Daily Dig, right here on Facebook Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Some of our stone material that we use before we pour the concrete. We have to fill in the areas with stone for proper drainage and security. And then we have our winter and fall fest items up here in our field of activities. You can also see in the background, that's our brand new water slide we just built for the Water Main Water Park. The construction on it's done on the water slide. Just got to get the plumbing hooked up and we'll be ready to go. It just needs some warm weather and to reopen. All right, so we thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Daily Dig. Check us out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1:30 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you had a lot of fun today with us and the tractor and all the different attachments and the great things it can do. Have a great day, everyone.